What's up everyone? So a bit ago I finished building my first ever computer, which is aimed at editing and gaming, and this video is going to serve a few purposes. I'm obviously going to show you the final result of everything. I'm going to talk about all the parts I picked and why I chose those over others, struggles I had being a first time builder, the cost of everything, and useful tips I would give other people who are just starting to build PCs. So first off, here is the final product, and I'm beyond happy with it. All the RGB looks really cool, and I think I did as good of a job as I possibly could have with the cable management. As well, I haven't had any problems with heat. I have my front 3 fans pulling air in, and the top 3 and back fans pushing air out. Very pleased with how it all came out. Now on to all the parts. For the case, I went with the EVGA ATX mid tower because the price on it was really good. It has tempered glass on the front and side so you can see all the components, and there aren't really any mentionable downsides to this thing. For CPU, I went with AMD and got the Ryzen 7 8000. The reason for AMD over Intel is because their processors do better with multi-threaded applications, which includes lots of editing softwares. Also, the CPU comes with the Wraith Prism cooler, which is pretty nice. For the motherboard, I got the MSI X570A Pro. I definitely didn't want to cheap out on the motherboard, and this one had everything I needed plus more. For memory, I went with two 16GB sticks clocked at DDR4 3600 MHz, so 32 gigs total. These are the Trident Z RGB sticks. I wanted to get a good amount of RAM at a good speed because RAM is very important for the editing side of things, and having high-speed memory can also definitely help with gaming. The RGB is pretty sweet too. I plan on getting probably like another 32 gigs of the same sticks in the future. For storage, I went with a 1TB Samsung M2 NVMe, the 970 EVO to be specific. These things are miles faster than a normal SATA SSD. For my graphics card, I went with the GeForce RTX 2070 Super. I was originally going to get a card that was a little cheaper and had a seemingly almost as good performance, but I just said what the heck and went with this one as I would like to have ray tracing open as a feature, and this is just a super solid graphics card that runs almost all AAA games very well. For power supply, I got the EVGA BQ600W because it sits at a pretty good price, went a decent amount above my power requirement, and is at least bronze certified. Also, I made sure to go with a brand that is well known. For fans, I went with three 140mm RGB fans by Darkflash for the front to get plenty of fresh air coming in while looking epic, and for the top and bottom, I got three 120mm RGB fans by GIM to move air out. Moving on to peripherals, I got the Optics Mag 321 CQR monitor by MSI. Who's naming this stuff? It's 31.5 inches, so it's nice and big. 2K resolution, 144Hz, slim bezels, and a slight curve. This thing offers a lot of great stuff at a pretty decent price of $439. After using it for a bit, it does have some quirks like having a weird menu thing you have to go through to get the 144Hz to actually turn on every single time you use it. Might just be my monitor though. Probably going to drop a standalone review for it, so stay tuned to the channel. For my mouse, I got the Logitech G603 wireless. It's wireless with a fast 1 millisecond response time, nice weight to it, 2 extra buttons on the side. Logitech just makes some good mice. And for my webcam, when I need one, I have this 1080p clip-on camera by Tenvis. Great quality for $40, HD, 30 frames per second, and it's got a 120-degree field of view, so it's really wide and gets everything in the picture. It also comes with this little tripod leg attachment, so you can stand it anywhere on your desk as well. The total with no peripherals and before tax came out to about $1,500, and with peripherals before tax, shipping, all that, it was $2,000, so pretty much exactly what I expected and planned on spending. So getting into my struggles, there were a few, and while some portions of the build took a lot more work than others, I still had a lot of fun. First off, I bought some random cables I didn't need. I had trouble plugging in the RAM, which sounds stupid, but basically I just didn't push it hard enough because I was scared to break something. I also, for some reason, unscrewed the motherboard standoffs, then had to screw them right back in. And finally, once I could see that everything was getting power and the PC was powering on completely, it wouldn't post. I tried switching little things around and troubleshooting for quite a while, and basically what ended up working was a CMOS reset. I took the battery out for 10 minutes, put it back in, and everything was up and running. The only errors I've had since building the computer about 4 months ago is 2 times when the overclock on the memory failed. Now I have it on the manufacturer's settings, but technically even that's considered an overclock. So the first time I turned XMP off, and the second time I just turned it back on, and everything's working again. Now on to the tips that I would give to other new builders. First, if all your components are getting power and your PC is posting and there's no BIOS popping up, do a CMOS reset. I know I just talked about it, but I wish I was aware of this a little sooner. Make sure your fans are aligned. Everything is oriented correctly, so if your fans have any moving effects, they'll be synchronized properly. I don't know if you noticed, but one of my fans is rotated the wrong way. One day I'll fix it. Plan on where your wires will go before you start plugging everything in, where they're routed through the case and where exactly they plug into. Don't be afraid to give things a little force. There are some parts where you should be delicate, but for example, when you're putting in your graphics card or RAM sticks, give it a little oomph and make sure it actually clicks and goes in all the way. Also, use the biggest fans possible. If you have the choice between 120mm and 140mm fans, go with the 140. The blades are bigger, meaning they can move more air while spinning at the same speed. The only real reason to go with smaller fans is if the space physically can't fit larger ones. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think of my first PC build. Maybe you learned something, maybe you didn't. Feel free to share your tips in the comments down below to help everyone out. And don't forget to subscribe for more upcoming videos. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.